Hi guys. So today we're going to be looking at text features. Text features are features that we find in nonfiction text or in informational text. What they do is that they help the reader kind of understand a little bit more of what they're talking about. Sometimes with nonfiction, it can be such a different type of knowledge for us, and it's all content, it's all learning based. When we read informational text, it's all informing us. So sometimes the author will put things like text features to kind of help us understand what we're reading about. So let's go ahead and look at some of those text features from two different books that we're going to be reading. The first one being San Antonio Spurs, and the second book being Thunderstorms. Both informational texts, two very different topics, but we'll see text features in both of them. So the first book we're going to be looking at is the San Antonio Spurs. So when I open up to one of the first few pages, I can see that I have a photograph over on this page. Now the photograph, they're very important to help me with my reading because it can show me exactly what is the text saying. So here in this photograph, I can see that the Spurs, they have a lot of fans. I can also see kind of the setting that the Spurs stay in, which is San Antonio. So this is showing me kind of what the San Antonio Riverwalk might look like. And if you notice over at the bottom here, over by these photographs, I have what's called a caption. Captions are really important, especially when we have photographs or illustrations, because a caption can tell me what is happening in this photograph. Just like on social media, when you would post a caption for your picture to kind of describe what your picture is about, you would put the same thing in a nonfiction text or an informational text to show what is happening in your photographs or your illustrations, so then your reader doesn't have to assume what is happening in your reading or what's happening in your pictures. And so the second book we're going to be looking at is Thunderstorms. This one is our science book. And on one of the very first few pages, I can find what is called a table of contents. So right here, they just call it contents. And so what's important about a table of contents is because there's a lot of information about thunderstorms. Whenever you have an informational text, there's a lot of information about whatever the author might be writing about. And so in order for us to find a specific type of information in the book, instead of just reading the whole book or just kind of skimming through and trying to find it, trying to hunt for it, the author puts this table of contents in here so then the reader can find that specific information a whole lot easier. So if I wanted to find something like how scientists or meteorologists might predict a thunderstorm, I would first see is there may be kind of a heading that has that, so I would look at my headings, and then I would find, okay, there's weather watchers, and then I see how do scientists predict wild weather, and then I would go to page 33. Page 33. Went too fast. So then I would go to page 33, and I would read all about how scientists or meteorologists might predict a thunderstorm happening. What's also something happening in this book, when I go to this page, I can see that the word meteorologist is put in bold. They made it a bolded word. So also, that's another text feature that we have. Authors will put a bolded word in your nonfiction text because those are vocabulary words. These are words that the author might think the reader may not know, and so, or they might be new words for the reader, and so then the author will put them in bold so then they grab that reader's attention and they can focus in on that word. And if you can't figure out what that word is from your context clues, there's another text feature that can help you with that one. If you go to the very, very back of the book, there's usually a glossary in nonfiction text, especially when they put bolded words, or if they have a vocabulary list somewhere in there, you're probably going to find a glossary. So right here, we have our glossary. Here they call them important words, but in text feature language, we usually call it a glossary. So if you notice, it has a whole lot of bolded words down here, and each bolded word right next to it has its definition. So those are our vocabulary words, and then it tells you the definition in case you can't figure it out from your context clues. So that's another text feature that authors will use to help us readers learn nonfiction text. So there you have it. Those were our two books. We had the San Antonio Spurs and we had Thunderstorms as our other book. So two very different books, two very different topics, but both informational text, both nonfiction text, therefore both consisting of text features. So the text features we looked at, just to recap, were table of contents, bolded words, a glossary, we had photographs, and we had captions, as well as some headings that we saw as well. Okay, thanks so much for watching.